What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this edition of Tea with Tallulah. My co-host, of course, is the lovely and talented Tallulah Johnson from across the pond. Tallulah, how you doing this morning? Or this
I'm well,
afternoon?
thank I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing really good. So off the air, we were talking about the cold. And so right now in London, you said it's 1 degree. Is that Celsius?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hang on. I'm going to ask Alexa. Alexa, what is 1 degree Celsius in Fahrenheit?
1 degree Celsius is 33.8
Oh,
degrees
yeah,
Fahrenheit.
so it is cold there. Holy moly. Yeah, so
Yeah.
33 degrees here is 1 degree there. Okay, that makes sense. So, yeah, you guys are
Here's
definitely,
something
definitely.
I found on the
Alexa,
web.
stop. Alexa always wants to give you more information than you really ask for. At any rate, it's very, very cold. It's supposed to be snowing up here in the Northeast here very, very soon. But you guys did not tune in to hear and listen to us talk about the weather. We are going to talk about Drew Barrymore. Now, Tallulah, prior to you looking at this, watching the video that I sent over to you, do you know anything about Drew Barrymore's history? Do you know about her childhood, her upbringing, her as an actress, or is that just an American thing?
I'm aware because it's kind of around my generation that
Okay.
she was really big. So
Okay.
I remember there was a little bit of a really unstable childhood for her,
Okay.
and she was so popular. She was so popular.
Yes, she was.
Um, Yeah, unstable childhood. I know she now has two young girls,
Okay.
um, uh, approaching around the age of 10, I think.
Okay.
And yeah. But there was a lot of dramas and really harsh things the girl actually went through when she was a kid.
Okay. You probably know more than most Americans do. So I'll just go through the highlights here. We're going to do a couple of things before we go. So obviously, Drew Barrymore, she rose to fame with the internationally acclaimed hit E.T. She was the cute. I mean, as a little girl, she was cute as a button. She did very, very well. That gained her international recognition, and then, of course, it sort of launched her career. Well, we go down to her early life and childhood, and this is where I'm just going to read. I'm just going to read this paragraph here. So. It says Barrymore grew up on Poinsettia Place, and some people call it Poinsettia. I call it Poinsettia. I don't know. Until she moved to Sherman Oaks. In her 2015 memoir, Wildflower, she says she talks like a, quote, Valley girl because she grew up in Sherman Oaks. She moved back to West Hollywood upon becoming emancipated. Now, for those of you who don't know what being emancipated means, being emancipated means that as a minor, you are freed from the, I guess, control of your parents. In other words, you are going to be treated like an adult. You can sign contracts, you're legally bound to contracts, and things of that nature. I don't know why she was emancipated. My guess is that, and I could have done a little bit more research, but I was a little bit short on time. But my guess is that her parents were, her children don't become emancipated for no reason. It usually has something to do with the parents. You guys in the chat, if you guys know more than I do, listen, let me know. Because I would certainly like to know. But so she was emancipated at the age of 14. So at the age of 14, Tallulah, she was given the responsibility and the really the freedom of an adult. And so it says Drew Barrymore, pardon me, attended elementary school at Fountain Day School in West Hollywood and Country School. In the wake of her sudden stardom, Barrymore endured a notoriously troubled childhood. That's what you talked about a little earlier. She was a regular at Studio 54 as a young girl. Now, are you aware of Studio 54 and what that was about back in the day, Tallulah, or do you need a quick? I can give you a quick little synopsis. It's really quite interesting.
Was it just a club?
It was a nightclub that was frequented by Hollywood stars. Sex, drugs, all kinds of stuff went on. Michael Jackson was always at Studio 54 and he was younger. It's like everybody who was anybody, Woody Allen, anybody who was anybody in Hollywood always spent time at Studio 54. Well, it continues. And her nightlife and constant partying became a popular subject with the media. She was placed in rehab at the age of 13 and spent 18 months in an institution for the mentally ill. A suicide attempt at 14 put her back in rehab followed by a 3-month stay with singer David Crosby and his wife. The stay was precipitated, Crosby said, because she, quote, needed to be around people that were committed to sobriety. Barrymore described the period of her life for Little Girl Lost. After a successful juvenile court petition for emancipation, she moved into her own apartment at the age of 15. Let's see, there was one more. So what's going on here, Tallulah, is that Drew Barrymore, I mean, to be placed in drug rehab at the age of 13 years old, that is a huge, I mean, to me, that's a black flag, even worse than a red flag. What are your thoughts? What are just your initial thoughts upon knowing that she was in alcohol and drug rehab at the age of 13 years old?
My thoughts are, I'll be honest, it might come from a nurturing place, but there was no available parents.
Yeah.
There was no one available emotionally or physically for her. So, she would have just been exposed to all sorts and probably dealing with those feelings of rejection from her parents. She would have been using on that. So she would have tried drugs and thought, oh, this makes me feel better. That takes away the anxiety. So that's what I'm guessing that's why I'm guessing was going on with this drinking and using. And plus she was living in a not reality.
No,
she wasn't living in reality at all. She was in she was in the top 5% of people she was hanging around with. And back then there wasn't awareness over drugs and drinking how there is, only in the last few years. So.
Sure. What is alarming to me is that she was a regular at Studio 54 as a young girl and then entered rehab at 13. What is a 13-year-old girl doing at Studio 54? Let me just jump in here. Studio 54, the nightclub era. Let me just read this quickly because this is shocking. It says, when CBS began marketing the building in 1976, various parties in the art and fashion world expressed interest into seeing it converted into a nightclub. Male model Uva Harden tried to get gallery owner Frank Lloyd to finance the club until Lloyd lost the $9 million lawsuit to the estate of the artist Mark Rothko in the Rothko case. In 1977, Steve Rubel and Ian Schrager transformed the theater into a nightclub called Studio 64 with Jack Ducey as the financial backer. They operated the company as a Broadway catering corporation. It took only 6 weeks to transform the theater into a nightclub and cost $400,000 before its grand opening on April 26th. Here was the scene. Event planner Robert Isabel had 4 tons of glitter dropped in a 4-inch layer, Jesus Christ, onto Studio 54 for a New Year's Eve party. Oh, and Ian Schrager said it was, quote, like standing on stardust. That sounds like the drug stalking. And it left glitter that could be found months later in attendees' clothing and homes. Listen to some of these people who were there. Woody Allen, Freddie Mercury, Al Pacino, Dolly Parton, John Belushi, holy moly, Jacqueline Bisset, Truman Capote, wow. Good God, Gia Karangi, that's the model. Drew Barrymore, of course. Tina Turner. Listen, Tallulah, these are all adults. What in the world? Like, you're right, there could not have been parenting available, because if I'm Drew's parents, I'm like, what are you doing going to Studio 54? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm looking at the names now on here, and you've got Robin Williams. He had really big struggles. Mick Jagger. All these people were a bit older than her at the time. They're all sort of 10, some 15 years older, some 5 years older, some 20 years older. Tallulah's there. Look.
Oh yeah, look at that! Look at that! Tallulah was there. How about that? Is Tallulah? I mean, so like, are you in another life? You were a British DJ, London based. How about that?
Yeah. So it's
This is
incredible. Big names, but craziness. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trump was there. Look.
Yeah, Donald Trump was there along with I think it's his first wife, Ivana Trump. So that's his first wife. Yeah, Czech American businesswoman. Salvador Dali. Are you kidding me? Like David Bowie, of course. Oh, that's David Bowie's scene. Tommy Hilfiger, dude, Michael Jackson, Victor Hugo. I don't know how this happened, Tallulah. How does a 13-year-old girl, Richard Gere, Betty Ford, Ric Flair, Farrah Fawcett, who, in my mind, Farrah Fawcett's the most beautiful woman who ever lived. That's just all there is to it. I don't know how in the world this happened. 13-year-old girl at Studio 54 drinking and doing drugs and ended up having to be in rehab at 13. I can't believe it. I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
That is
it's
insane.
unbelievable.
All right, so let's fast forward here before we get to the video. So what we're going to do now is we are going to go through Drew Barrymore's dating history. And it is long and distinguished. Wow, Christian Bale was on that list. I guess that's before he got big. And by the way, I know I'm speaking in hyperbole here. I believe that Christian Bale and Johnny Depp are the greatest actors of our time. That's just me. Corey Feldman, teen heartthrob, Balthazar Getty, Rick Solomon, Leland Hayward III, David Arquette. I didn't know that. Let's see, Cora Nemec, Jamie Walters, Billy Idol. That's awesome. Jeremy Thomas, Eric Erlandson, Ed Norton. How about that? Oh, she dated Jane Pratt, so it looks like she was a bit of a switch hitter. Luke Wilson, Henry Thomas, Tom Green. I remember when Tom Green had testicular cancer. Drew Barrymore was sort of there for him. They fell in love and got married. Brandon Davis, Sam Rockwell, also a very good actor. Fabrizio Moretti. Hugh Grant, Spike Jonze. Wow, that was the director of the movie Her. Justin Long, Ed Westwick, Jason Segel. That was rumored. Let's see, Nick Dash, Will Kopelman, who she had 2 kids with, and of course David Hutchinson. The bottom line here, Tallulah, is she's dated a lot of dudes, which means that this is just her body count, right? This is just her body count in terms of the men that she's dated. Who knows how many one-night stands or hookups she had at such that young age. What are your thoughts on her dating history? What does that tell you?
I'm trying to work out whereabouts like all these actors were in their career when she was dating them. And looking at kind of people like Ed Westwick, maybe Christian Bale. I don't know because I don't know the dates that she was actually dating them. Yeah. But it seems like a lot of guys as they were coming up, not when they were fully established. I could have this wrong. It'd be great to hear from the audience. They weren't fully established yet.
Okay.
But what I'm wondering now, and I'll leave the next comment that I have until maybe I'll bring it in now. The fact that, Drew is now, I think she's 45.
Yeah, she's 46.
Yeah. Is these guys, right? There's 2 things that's going to be going on for her. She's going to want to date someone naturally, like any female is, a guy that has a higher status than her.
That's right.
But someone like Christian Bale and also even Ed Westwick, all these guys, and there's a big list of big names there.
Yes, it is.
They can all date women that are 21.
Right.
With no problems. And I think that's a lot of what's going into playing out for her at the moment is that realization. I know she's saying, I can't date with kids, blah, blah. You know what? I'm going to go more into it because I have so much to say on this subject. But
perfect.
But there's a lot of guys here. And the worst thing is, I think the worst thing with this is these guys all know each other.
Yes.
That's really bad. That's like, please excuse me, Devon, if you're in the studio at the moment.
No,
that's like Devon, right? Or I don't know, a podcaster's partner who you've got the list, Donovan Sharp, Myron Gaines, you've got that whole list of guys, right?
Right.
Your value's just going to go down. You do not go with in the same circle with men.
Yes. Oh my God. And as you can see, Christian Bale I actually did the math. Bale was born in 1974. Well, this was in 1987. She was 13 and he was 13.
Oh, okay.
So there's a young Christian Bale, cute as a button, as you can see. Corey Feldman was a teen heartthrob. Back in, and their relationship was 9 months. Corey Feldman was the teen heartthrob back in the 1980s. I don't know why. He was, I don't know. I mean, he just didn't. He's not really a good looking dude as far as I know. So let's see. Let's just look and see how long these relationships lasted. So this relationship was a month. Okay.
I just want to bring. It sounds like she may have lost. I mean, if she was drinking and using at 13, she may have lost her virginity that young.
I'm thinking she probably did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So she lost her virginity. She might have even lost it before then. A girl that I dated, back when I was 31. She was 19. She had a 6-year-old kid. Which means she had her child at 13, which means she probably started having sex a lot sooner than that. So there you go. Let's see. Balthazar Getty, 5 months. You can see that none of these relationships really lasted that long, right? So here's another one. Rick Salomon, that lasted 1 month. Leland Hayward, that lasted 8 months. Like, dude, she is just running through them. 3 months. David Arquette. I don't know that these even count as relationships, to be honest with you. 2 months. Holy, like, what are we doing? Jamie Walters, 1 year. Dude, she's not dating these guys. Okay, they don't have it here for Billy Idol, but dude, like, you can tell all of the, well, there's a 1 year relationship. What does it tell you that another 1 year relationship? What does it tell you with all of these short-term relationships? What's this tell you about her as a person? I think that she was probably just too immature to be dating around at that point. Am I wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. She is too immature. And also from her history, you know, men wouldn't have wanted to deal with, you know, everything that's going on with her with the drugs and the alcohol. They would have been more interested. These guys actually would have been more interested in their goal and their career, rather than, you know, catering to someone that was just going to do that.
Oh my God.
You know,
wow.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. That's, I mean, listen, that's, I'm probably thinking along those same lines. And so that leads us to this video. Now, this is fair use. Of course, I do have to say that. So what I've done is I've altered the video a little bit visually, and I've also sped it up. So they're going to be talking a little bit fast, but we can still make out what they're saying. Obviously, I'll have to pause it every 8 to 10 seconds so that I stay out of copyright. But away we go.
Are out there looking for, if you're looking for a hookup, great, girl, start that from the bedroom. But if you are like, hey, I want this to possibly be a relationship, don't start it from the bedroom. Don't have your bed in the background.
That's great advice. Like, it's sending a real...
This is funny. So he's advising her, listen, if you want to have a hookup, but if you want a relationship, don't start with the bedroom. And she acknowledges that's good advice. What are your thoughts on that?
Or in general, with her.
Of course. Well, in general and with her, actually, because I think that's good advice.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna go on a date with someone, it's not particularly the best idea to sleep with them on the first night.
Yes, that's exactly right. Listen, ladies, if you're watching, men, we are going to try to sleep with you on the first date, because that's what we do. But when we as men try to sleep with you on the first date, that is our way of shit testing you. Passing the shit test is not sleeping with us on the first date. Failing it is allowing us to sleep with you on the first date. Because if you let us sleep with you on the first date, if we're worth anything, we're only going to keep you in the FWB category. I'm just putting it like it is.
sort of sex forward message.
Yeah.
And
This is funny. BK from the Rockies says it sounds like she's counting her flings as long-term relationships. That makes sense. It sounds like she was just sleeping around, and this website is characterizing them as relationships. Hang on a second. Man of Understanding. $5 super chat says, just referred my cousin to your channel. He just found out that his wife, quote, was fat, is cheating after she dropped the weight. Dude, just to sort of divert here, Tallulah, women who are overweight, and when women who are overweight, if they're married when they're overweight, when they lose all the weight, they almost always cheat simply because their sexual market value goes up. The reason I think that is because their husband now becomes unattractive to them because he committed to a fat girl. And if he committed to a fat girl, how high could his value really be? So when she gets skinny and loses all the weight, she's unattracted to her husband and goes off and cheats on him. What do you think about that?
I've never thought about that, but it sounds like it could be something subconscious for sure.
Yes. There's actually an article that I broke down, about a year and a half ago, and there was a study that something like 85% of women who got the bariatric or the lap band or the sleeve, 85% of women ended up ending their marriages if they were married before they lost the weight. So that's just kind of how that goes.
Right.
Wow. Cigarman85 says short-term relationship means long-term craziness. Let's continue.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Not ready for that.
I don't know how to date with kids. You know, I'm not.
I don't know how to date with kids. Did you have anything on that?
Yeah, I can see straight through what's going on for her.
Let's see it. Let's hear it. This is great.
Oh God. I mean, she's I watched this interview in full, and what she's doing is she's placing this on, I'm a really good mum and I want to make sure I have the right guy for my children. And yes, there is an element to that. Every woman wants to make sure the right man is around her kids.
Right.
But I think with regards to her, she can't find the right guy for her and her children, because she is going to be looking at guys that have a higher status than her. And those guys that have a higher status than her, or even the same status as her, same age as her, are going to be going for younger women who do not have children. There is absolutely nothing wrong with having kids. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. However, men do not want to parent, or even if they're not parenting, be around another man's offspring. He doesn't want to provide for them. Right. Maybe much later in life, if she, but he had kids, she had kids perhaps, but not really. I mean, she looks really good, obviously, for her age, for sure. But it's not going to change the fact of her, Fresh and Fit have been talking a lot about this recently, about preferences.
Yes.
And she's got a preference, but she's not going to sit there and say, oh, well, actually, no, I want a guy who's, my age, who, is willing to look after my kids. He has to be a higher status. She's not going to be going for a standard guy. She's probably got a queue of guys because of who she is. She's probably got a queue of guys that are 45 that would date her, but they're not the types of men that she would want.
I agree. And as you can see here, Tallulah, Drew Barrymore has seen better days. I mean, she used to be, she used to be hot. I mean, look at her. She used to be, listen, man, this is when she's probably in her early 20s. No woman, oh, my alarm's going off. No woman is going to look as good at 46 as she did when she was 26.
No way.
But the point is it's just like you said, and it's unfortunately for women, it is in their biological hard drive not to go for men with lower status than them. It doesn't and women would love to be able to love a man unconditionally, and love a man of lower status, but the advancement of the species, that would, how can I put this? That would effectively, we'd end up breeding out the best genes in history. This is why the creator, whoever he or she is, made it so that women look to date up. They look to marry up. Drew Barrymore is 46. She's worth zillions of dollars, and she has 2 kids. I don't know what high-value man in his right mind would want to be even in a relationship with her.
Yeah, and it's not only that. She's not only going for the high status just for herself and to be attracted to him, but because she's got 2 girls.
Right.
So she'll be definitely looking for someone more high status,
yes,
for protecting and provisioning as well. But, you can see, look, watch when she cries, you can see, there is emotion there. There is absolute emotion there. There is some truth to it, but she's an actress, right?
Yes.
She's crying because she can't get these guys. And these guys, Christian Bale, all these dudes that, she's basically been alpha widowed about 1,000 times.
Oh, of course, yes.
These dudes probably in that industry are, she'll still be sort of in touch with people. Well, she will be in touch with people in that industry, and she will be looked, unfortunately, I know she's had her problems, but as damaged, round through, all of those things. And no guy will respect her because of that. There's no way that Christian Bale would even text her back now.
No way. I mean, maybe out of common courtesy. But yeah, Christian Bale he's a mega superstar. Black Glamour.
That's what she's crying about. That's what she's crying. Trust me, this is where it's coming from, and she's blaming it all on because she's making it out to be as if it's I'm looking for just the best person for my kids. That is not all that's going on here.
Yeah, I agree. No, I totally agree. It's because the best man for her kids is not going to be the best man for her. The best man for her kids is going to be the provider male, right? The provider male who doesn't mind, you know, wifing up a 46-year-old single mom who has ridden the Hollywood carousel, who has had drug and alcohol problems apparently up until about 2 years ago. She's only 2 years sober, so she could relapse at any time. It sounds like she's struggled with drugs and alcohol for most of her life, really, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like it. That's actually quite shocking that she went into rehab at 13. I know that she's been sober for a while, but I would have thought that she would have been sober by maybe her late 20s.
Yeah.
Maybe like 28, 30 even. I didn't realize that it was a recent thing.
That's incredible. It really, really is incredible. Wintrell on the YouTube side says, wow, she just blamed her kid. Let's listen to that again. Do you think she blamed her kid? Let's listen again.
Not ready for that.
I don't know how to date with kids. You know, I'm not there yet. I have 2 young girls, and I'm like...
So do you think she blamed her kids there, or is she just trying to be, hey, listen, I don't know how to date with kids?
I don't know how to date with kids, and it's kill to party.
Yeah.
You know, saying it's kill to party all over. You know, it's these children are getting in the way of me dating. That's all I'm seeing here. I know I'm being really, really harsh because you know, this woman has been through so much, obviously, in her childhood to end up, you know, going through drugs and alcohol and you know, it's just awful. It's just awful. It's tragic, but. Yeah, it's these guys. Look at that list. Every single one of those guys is not going to deal with any woman that has not got their own children.
No,
unless it's their kids. I mean, look at Billy Idol. You brought up, oh, you know, there's no timestamp on that. I promise you, Billy Idol. Look at him. That was a one-night stand.
Of course. That's a very good point. Anytime it says rumor, I think it's a one-night stand.
That guy is.
Billy Idol's not in a relationship with anybody, man. No, hell no. Yeah, man, all of these, and it's interesting. I didn't look at the lengths of the relationships, but it just sounded like these were all flings, right? And this website is trying to characterize these flings as relationships. Let's just go to Hugh Grant here. Oh, wait a minute. Relationships 12? No. Let me just go to Hugh Grant here. I'm going to view the couple. This is incredible. There is no, this looks like a one-night stand. It's always 1 month, 3 months. She was with Tom Green for 2 years, but she never loved him. We knew that she would never love him because he's just, you know, he's Tom Green. He's kind of a goofy guy. Tom Green probably wouldn't have anything to do with her at this point in time. All right, let's continue. Wow, this is hard.
I don't want to bring people home. I think that it would take me a very long time to meet someone and get to know them before I could even ever introduce them to my daughter.
Oh boy, now she's speaking from a position of supposed abundance. She said, I would have to take my time to get to know these guys. Tallulah, she's 46. She ain't got much time, right?
No, she hasn't. She hasn't got much time. And the thing is here is that the problem is, and I've done a video on this in the past.
Oh, okay.
Is that guys are going to be telling her, right? She's going to have a load of guys orbiting, you know, willing to, you know, give up everything for her, you know, because she's Drew Barrymore, right? And she does not look bad. I don't think she looks bad for her age at all.
Okay.
Now she's gonna have that, but she's gonna take what they're telling her as truth. So she probably thinks that she's like, okay, I'm an 8, 9, or a 10, when actually, in the eyes of the high value guys, she's not.
Wow.
The reality is she's not, and it's you know, it's these guys, and this is again back to today. The amount of girls like fresh and fit, right?
Yeah,
all the girls that go on there. I'd say the majority of them are pretty, but I would say that because they're all a lot younger than me.
Sure.
But, you know, they're sitting there going, I'm a 9.
Yeah.
You are,
Jesus
like, yeah,
Christ.
You're young, you're beautiful, but you are not a 9. There are no girls that are a 9 on there. Like, you get some great 8s, you get some great 7s. You don't get, they say, I'm a 9, I'm a 10. I'm the 1%. You hear this all the time.
God,
and it's ridiculous. Like, no, because you've had a guy on your, these girls have OnlyFans and Instagrams and all these things saying you're a 10, or like, you know, they'll put up with her bad behavior because they're so desperate, and they take that as I can get any guy I want because they have a load of low value guys saying this.
Yes, yes.
And it's not true. And Drew Barrymore is an exact version of this, but
That's right.
ramped up to another level, right?
Yeah. And her pool of potential shooters is even smaller because of who she is. I mean, I'm sure I could look up her net worth. I mean, I'm sure she's worth into the millions of dollars. Dude, Drew Barrymore has more money than you and I will ever accumulate in 100 lifetimes. But that's and I say this all the time. The more money, status, fame, whatever the case may be that a woman acquires, the further she shrinks her pool of potential suitors. I've said this for years. The way Myron characterized it, he says, listen, man, the more money a man makes, the more doors open. The more money a woman makes, the more doors close. She managed to have 2 children. I don't know why she's not married to the guy she was married to anymore. But according to Devin, she's been married 3 times. 2 just lasted a year. 1 lasted 4 years. And then there it is. She was engaged 2 other times. I mean, dude, it really is sad. Drew Barrymore has been ran through. She's got 2 kids. She's 4 years from 50. She's in a bad way, man. She really
and
is.
You see, also, I've noticed this is all about her as well.
Yes.
She's if you watch the whole interview, it's all about me, all about me,
Yes,
all about me the whole
yes.
time. This girl is not doing what any of the girls on the panel that you had on Sunday are doing, what I'm doing, what Devon's doing.
Right.
Of trying to hang in there and keep our guy, keep him happy, keep him pleased, all those things. She's not going to be doing that. She's going to go, I'm Drew Barrymore.
Yes.
Loads of guys like me.
Yes.
I'm a 10. And this girl is going to be like, no, you're not.
No, Nope. GT Wholesale 1 with the $50 super chat. Says, love your work. Love you, brother. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much for that. Cigar Man, $5, says, Kristen Bale won't be able to save her even with the bat signal. Okay. That was funny. Let's continue.
And I don't think anybody knows how to do anything, right? So don't put that pressure on yourself that you don't know how to do it. I think going into it, saying to yourself, I don't know how to do it, is the first step of figuring out how to do it. Because it's those people that go in like, I know what I'm doing.
See, this is all just Oprah psychobabble.
And can you also see there's a dynamic going on here?
Okay.
And if Devon's in the studio, she'll see this. Her and this guy, they're both loony. Right?
Yes, they are.
Look at them together. They're like, they might as well be in a lunatic asylum for this moment.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, listen, he's all over the place, right? And listen, we know Drew Barrymore has mental illness. Dude, she tried to end herself at 14 years old. This guy actually is one of the hosts of the really popular show, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. I actually used to watch this show to try to figure out how to dress because, listen, say what you want about their sexuality. Dude, gay guys know how to dress. They know how to dress men. They know how to dress men in such a way that makes you attractive to women. So I don't understand why he's talking to Drew Barrymore. I don't know why he's talking to Drew Barrymore about the struggles of dating as a single mom. I don't know how this guy relates. Who knows?
I got this. You know what? It's not going to affect my kids. What I do, like, you're thinking about that, and you're thinking how it's going to affect them, and you're being careful about it, which means you're a good mom. Oh my God.
Oh my God. So this guy is feeding into all of her delusions. That's what's happening.
He knows how to do that.
Of course.
He knows how to do that for 2 reasons. Not only because he's a host, but I will say right now, if you have any guys, well, you probably don't have any gay guys on here, but gay guys are usually the most alpha dudes because they have no investment in what women think. If you watch the way these guys move, they have businesses, they have successful relationships. I'm not talking about all, but the majority of them. Like you said, they know how to dress, but they're not being stopped on their path or in their tracks.
Nope.
To please a woman or to please society. They're actually more like RP than
listen,
without even knowing what RP is.
I agree with you 100%. And one thing that Myron and I talked about, I think it was the third or the second to last time I was actually on the Fresh and Fit podcast, we talked about the fact that the reason why homosexual men are so happy and so successful is because they don't deal with women. They don't deal with women. They're only they date dudes, they go out with dudes, they have one-night stands with dudes. This is why they have money, status, fame, clout, wealth, because they're not dealing with women. And I agree 100%, man. Say what you want about homosexual dudes, man. I've never had a problem with them. One of my best friends, that I used to work with. We used to watch the Catherine. You know who Catherine Tate is?
Yes.
Yeah, we used to watch the Catherine. We used to watch clips of the Catherine Tate show, and there was a character that she played. His name was Derek Faye. We used to laugh at that all the time. But the reason why homosexual men are so happy, I think, and I agree with Myron, is because they're not dealing with women. JBlaze11 says she needs Donovan to check her. Yeah, what this guy's doing is assuaging her ego. You got this, girl. You're trying to be careful. Listen, man, this woman needs a Kevin Samuels. This woman needs someone to tell her, Drew, listen, you're not going to like this, and you're probably going to cry, but it's over for you. Like, listen, you'll get the occasional fling here or there, but you are you're an A-list Hollywood actress and celebrity who's 4 years from half a hundred with 2 kids. Who is going to, you don't want to be cruel, but at some point you got to tell her the truth, right?
Yeah, send that to my channel. I help women.
Ah, there we go. And that is Tallulah Johnson. Guys, go and subscribe to her channel. The Feminine Truth. That's youtube.com/c/The Feminine Truth. The link is in the description. Let's continue.
Don't question that at all.
I agree with you, Bobby Burke. Drew Barrymore, don't question that about yourself at all. I've seen you with your kids, Frankie, and all. I get it. But
Gail King.
where did the emotion come from? Because you're talking and you're fine. Yeah. Is it sometimes when you start saying the words out loud, all of a sudden it hits you?
You know, I got ready with Bobby, Tan, Anthony, and Jonathan.
The Queer Eye team, yeah.
I'm such a Queer Eye fan.
Yeah.
And
For the straight guy.
I had never realized and said out loud that I don't know how to date with kids. My kid's dad is happily remarried with the most wonderful woman in the world.
Oh, boy, that's not good. So her baby daddy is remarried to probably a woman younger than her, I would imagine. Oh, boy, this is bad.
My children have this extraordinary stepmom, and our processes have been different, and their side of the street is so functional and whole and happening. And I think I've been on the sidelines in a beautiful, honoring purgatory. And saying it out.
Dude, a beautiful, honoring purgatory. Tallulah, do you see the mental gymnastics going on here? Listen, I don't think Drew Barrymore is a bad person, but you know as well as I do, women have to tell themselves this stuff in order to sleep at night. Am I wrong, or is she really just this delusional?
No, they are delusional, but they say it. And sometimes when you watch women talk about this, you can see that they know it deep down. They know it deep down, but they just can't. And the more that they are talking about it and realize, oh, actually, no, I know what I'm talking about is crap, and then they literally just carry on and force people more, and it sounds absolutely delusional.
Oh my God. You can see it in her face. It's almost like
it is easier as an older girl to accept it. It's hard, it's upsetting, it's triggering. You know, all of us girls, apart from the young 2 on the panel, we all know that, at night we're lying there thinking, oh gosh, well, what's it going to be like in 5 years? What's it going to be like in 2 years? Right. But we accept the reality of it, and we're not shocked with certain situations that happen in our life due to our age or backgrounds or whatever. It's just easier just to accept it. And, like my channel, it gives me so much where it's a place for me to be in a place of acceptance, and also a place where I can try and get other women there as well.
What do you think is the most the most important factor for women, I guess, to embark on to accept the truth? Because the truth is hard to accept for both men and women. But how do women get to the point where you're at? How do they do that? Because Barrymore is 46 and she's still trying to talk herself into believing that there's a Mr. Right out there. How do you get women to understand and acknowledge the truth without going into a mental breakdown, or is that impossible?
It's near on impossible. I got it, my story. I understood when I was 16, 17 years old. Right, I got my first wake up call. This is, how it is. And I think I've just always been I've been very intuitive around people. I've understood how this works from a very young age. But I don't think it's possible with how the media enforces everything. If we were in the 50s, and then we would have an understanding.
Right.
You know, we would have an understanding, you know, our time has come to an end with that now. We need to embrace where we are now. But I think it's important, you know, women take it the wrong way sometimes. I mean, with my channel, a few women will look at that and think, but I am valuable and she doesn't value herself with everything she's saying. And that's not true.
Right.
Every woman has value no matter what. However, their sexual market value, they have to understand, is not the same. So the sexual market value is not the same, but it doesn't mean that, you know, just because we're saying that, it doesn't mean that you have no value. You could be Drew Barrymore, for all we know, could be an amazing mum. She could be, you know, all these things, but she's not accepting that she can't compete with her 26-year-old self,
right?
Her 46-year-old self. She still has taken the 26-year-old mindset and taken it to 46, and still thinks that she's going to still have the same level of guys, that she's still got it, that, you know, all these things. And it's just not, it's the sad reality, but it is reality. It's the RP for sure.
I think Drew Barrymore is, pardon me, emotionally stunted. And you put it perfectly. She's not talking like a 46-year-old woman who understands that her sexual market value is lower, if not plummeted completely. She's talking like a delusional 26-year-old, just like you said, who thinks that she is still going to have access to these high caliber guys. But when she cries, whether that's real or fake or not, that I think is just a little bit of reality biting her in the ass. Listen, I know you think I know you're acting like you're 26, but we're 46, sweetheart. Like it's just not going to happen. What happens a lot with girls, and I've said this before, as soon as women know that men are sexually interested in them, they stop maturing. At least that's the way it is now. This is not the way it was back in the 1950s and 60s or 40s and 50s. But as soon as women figure out that men are sexually interested in them, all of a sudden, all of their maturity stops. And the reason for that is because women inherently know that their sexuality is their key, their ticket to everything. Yeah. It's their ticket to freedom. It's their ticket to marriage, kids, family, security, et cetera, et cetera. But what ends up happening is that instead of getting married or seeking a high-value man to settle down with and have a family with, they ride the carousel and they still have that same 13, 14-year-old mindset. Yeah. So, and Drew, listen, let's just assume that Drew lost her virginity at 13 years old. Okay, so she's probably started maturing again when she was 35, which means she probably has the mind of a 20-year-old. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you know, the fact as well that, you know, she's only been sober for a few years also makes me feel that there was an emotional stunting. You know, a lot of people when they get sober, that's when, you know, they say, oh, I'm an adult now, and, you know, I'm starting to, it's the mindset rather than, you know, I'm not saying she's acting like a baby, but, you know, it's just that mindset. But I think it goes a lot deeper than that. This is a worldwide problem.
Yes.
That is, you know, she's sitting there still saying, you know, oh, you know, I'm still the best. I'm the best. And yes, you could be the best mom. She could be the best friend. You never know. Like, I'm sure she'd be a lovely friend.
Right.
Because she's the best actress. You know, she's got all these things. But you have to understand that, you know, at 46, it's just your sexual market value, not your value. Your sexual market value is not the same. That's like me saying, okay, well, you know, I'm going to compete with my 27-year-old self, 25-year-old self, 23-year-old self. If I look at all those stages in my life, there's just no way. There's no way. It's not possible.
Listen, something you just said really struck a chord with me. The older you get, the lower your sexual market value goes. But the older you get, the higher your overall and relationship market value goes. There are a few advantages to dating older women. When I say older women, these are women who are not in their 20s. Women who are older, listen, the cougar myth, cougars play games just like everybody else, guys. That's just all there is to it. But older women have been around longer, so they know more, right? You can have a more intelligent conversation with them. Older women tend to know how to cook better. Older women are a little bit more established financially. Whether that's good or bad is neither here nor there, but older women also have a better handle on finances. Now, listen, Kevin Samuels talked about the fact is, listen, man, I'm out here dating women. Women are broke. Right, women are broke. So just because a woman is older does not mean that she is not still emotionally mature. But take my girlfriend, for example, Devin. She's been an SEO expert for the better part of the last 20 years. And so her sexual market value has been in steep decline since the age of 29 or 30. But her relationship market value is it's high. It was high enough combined with her sexual market value for me to actually commit to her long term. So I think what women need to do is they need to come up with a plan. You're not going to have that high sexual market value forever. You're going to age. You're going to become less attractive, but that doesn't mean your value has to plummet. This means developing yourself outside of just your looks. I can't imagine what the dating market is going to look like in 10 years with all of these 40-somethings with these Brazilian butt lifts and all this plastic surgery and all these tattoos who don't know how to do anything but pose for Instagram. And dudes are not going to be checking for women like that.
No, and it's really funny you should say that, because when it's actually kind of warmed my heart, actually. I mean, my mum was like RP 100%. She like understood it. And when Instagram came out and Facebook came out, I used to go like, because obviously it was quite tough for me to deal with, right? As a woman, seeing all these girls, and I was older and not older than all these girls, you know, and all these Instagram.
And listen, these Instagram models are fucking gorgeous. They really are. But that's really all that's good about them.
And then I'd say to my mum, oh, like, you know, oh, but look at that, like, you know, I'm never going to be able to be that. And this was when I was in like my late 20s, you know, I still kind of had it. But my mum would go, she wouldn't be sympathetic with me, but she'd go, okay, well, she'll be slitting our wrists then in 20 years, won't she? I was like, Mum, I was like,
wow, your mom kept it 100.
She said she's not going to look like that in 20 years. No. And if my grandmother had seen that, she would have just said, you know, why are you showcasing? You know, it's all this showcasing it around. And what I think with Devon and with some of the other, Janelle, the other girls on the panel, is that they're very rare for their age to be getting this stuff.
Yes.
There are 40-year-old women, 30 girls my age in their late 30s, that don't get it.
No, they don't. And they never will.
Like, they're a rare find, and they're not interested still. He cooks for me at night. I want him to cook, and I'm not going to do anything. And why should I? And, you know, just being non-agreeable.
Right.
And non-like accommodating. It's really important to accommodate your partner.
Yes.
Look after them. And these women don't.
No, they don't.
They don't.
And the more attractive a woman is, the less accommodating she is. But if you're attractive and accommodating, dude, high-value men are going to be breaking down your door.
I'm literally I'm talking about women like from late 30s upwards.
Oh, okay.
They're not accommodating. They still don't get it.
This is incredible.
I guarantee you that Devon, you know, if she was to pick out like 6 of her girlfriends, maybe one of them will get this stuff.
Good God, man. Yeah. And that's actually what we're going to be talking about on Not All Women on Sunday at noon Eastern, 5 British time, is the friendships and the family members that you sort of lose because you live this life. So that's going to be a very, very interesting panel discussion. Theo Waff with the $100 super chat says she was a super babe back in the day. No way I would even date her now, even with all her money. Let's take a quick look at what Drew Barrymore used to... Listen, Drew Barrymore used to be quite attractive. She really... And you could tell she still kind of had the baby fat, but there she is. Oh, my God. She was this... Look at that. She was this... Dude, she was the cutest thing anyone had ever seen on E.T. This, of course, is 1980s. Now, she's a little bit more refined here. She actually looks very good in this picture, and she probably looks like she's in her 30s. Some women... It's weird. Some women, when they actually... when they get a little bit older, they actually start to take weight loss a little bit better. So yes, she can't compete with herself back in her 20s, but a lot of times women are in better shape in their 40s than they are in their 30s or 20s. Devin, for example, she's in better shape now at 45 than she ever was at 35. Probably not even 25. She's in the best shape she's ever been in since she was 20 years old. That's what makes her attractive. But yeah, listen, Drew used to be a super babe, but now she is super not. Let us continue with this breakdown.
Loud. I've been saying that it's me, it's my choice. I'm not ready. I want to wait. I don't think I've said out loud that it's really because of I have these 2 daughters.
That you really want to and you don't know.
Oh boy. So now she's telling everyone she's single because through no fault of her own. It's her children are the like I could be in a relationship, but I'm trying to be a good mom, so that's why. Like, in other words, you can't fire me because I quit. What do you think of that?
I just think it's all an act.
I agree.
But again, you can see me. You can see her even trying to take up the space. Look at this guy. Look at him.
Yeah.
At the end.
Oh yeah. Nate Burleson. Yeah, he's not buying it. He's
just like, no. He's just like, absolutely not. It's it's all about me. But she's not going to say these aren't the guys that I want. She's just blaming it on the kids.
Yeah, she really is.
I can see it a mile off. And this other woman looks like kind of, I've never seen this woman before. She's probably famous in America, but she's very Oprah, very woke, very, and she will enforce this continuously.
And
this guy on the end's just like not having it. He's like,
Nate is like, dude, and Nate is a man, right? Gayle King, the woman you're talking about, one of Oprah's best friends, very masculine, very da-da-da-da-da-da. There's nothing really attractive about her. Allie of Real Femme Sapien says, since when is purgatory beautiful? Yeah, that's a good point. She also says, older women with marriage and family aren't concerned with the wall at all. She wouldn't be worried about her sexual market value if she had relationship market value, like get married and bake cookies. Right, exactly. Drew knows that other than her money, she has nothing to offer a man. Hold on now, wait a minute. Do you think Drew knows she has nothing to offer a man, or is this something she hadn't figured out yet?
She hasn't figured that out. She thinks she just needs to be her.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, Drew. I don't think Drew Barrymore is a bad person. Clearly, she had a rough upbringing. She's been through a lot, but dude, she's in for a rude awakening. She really is.
How old are your daughters now?
7 and 9. Mm-hmm. So I've been single.
Oh my God. 7 and 9. 2 young daughters.
For 6 years. Mm-hmm. And I just have honestly really not known how to do this. I'll go in.
Listen to this. She says, I've been single now for 6 years. But listen.
Occasional date, but that's only in the last 2 years.
Oh, oh my God. Oh, Tallulah, listen to this entire interaction. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. So I've been single for 6 years, and I just have honestly really not known how to do this. I'll go on an occasional date, but that's only in the last 2 years. It took me 4 to even step out there.
Oh boy. When women say I haven't been in a relationship in 5 years, 6 years, what they want us to believe is that they've been home taking care of the kids or waiting for Jesus Christ himself to send her Mr. Right. But Drew Barrymore has money. If she wants to go out and hook up with guys, she could do that because she could just hire someone to come watch her kids or a nanny. This woman just sat here and told us that she hasn't been in a relationship in 6 years. And then she tried to lie to us and say, well, I'll go on the occasional date, but that's only been the last couple of years. Tallulah, do you buy that, or do you think she's just been sport fucking her way around Hollywood?
Yeah, I just think that whether she hasn't had a relationship in 6 years, and it's the vulnerable act again.
Yes.
And it's like, because guys don't want to deal with what's coming with you.
Yes.
They don't, and it's just a vulnerable act.
Oh my God, this is incredible. 500.
This is the norm, Donovan. This really is the norm. This is like what it's like living in I don't know about America, but in England, this is how they go on. It's all about, but I just don't know about stepping out there, and it's yes, you do. Just no one wants you.
Listen, you're absolutely
He's
right.
probably been trying to text Christian Bale, Ed Westwick, all these dudes. I guarantee you go through her phone and she has sent messages to all of them. I guarantee it, 100%.
And they all leave her on red. I can promise you, they all leave her on scene.
Yeah.
Poor Drew Barrymore. Oh well, I mean, listen, man. She made her choices. She made her bed. She has to lay in it. Wait, give me a second here. Oh, Jay Blaze says zero excuse. He also says Adam Sandler saved her career with The Wedding Singer. So Adam Sandler is a very good friend of Drew Barrymore. They have been in 3 romantic comedies together. The first one was The Wedding Singer. The second one was 50 First Dates, and I think the last one was Blended Family. All 3 of those, well, I didn't really like 50 First Dates. The Wedding Singer was awesome because it was set back in the 80s and Adam Sandler was this wedding singer. But yeah, I think Adam Sandler definitely saved her career. And I'll tell you this, I'll bet you she's probably shot Adam Sandler a few texts as well. Oh, by the way, 557 people watching. We have reached a new high for this show. Let me play the sound effect. 547 people watching, guys. Hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Tallulah's YouTube channel, The Feminine Truth. I'm going to put it up on the screen at the end of this breakdown and force you guys to subscribe. Let's continue.
Different processes. Then enter a pandemic when you think maybe I should step out of my comfort zone and even see.
I also think it's different for women too, Drew, with young daughters. I think it's young children. I think that's very difficult. So what have you decided? What have you decided? How are you navigating it?
Oh, this will be funny. Very good question, Ms. King.
I also honestly found Zoom dates really unromantic. They're just a reminder.
I cannot imagine.
Wait, what kind of dates? Hang on a second.
You know, I also honestly found Zoom dates really unromantic.
What are Zoom dates?
They're just a reminder.
I cannot imagine them.
They're a reminder to me of the state of the world we're living in.
Yeah.
However, counterpoint, you can't fight City Hall. Online dating is where it's at. This is not a bad editing process. I've had a few in-person dates that I would have given anything for them to be on Zoom. And
oh, Zoom. Do you mean she's actually going on dates? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. This is bad.
I'm like, okay, I'm ready to, this is Queer Eye, X Drew Barrymore show, X kind of New York Times modern love. There's a secret recipe that's happening in this episode that is vulnerable and about all of us. How do we date in the modern world and navigate family and life and romance and virtual and pandemic? And really, it's about, so much of the episode is really about talking to these wonderful men who go out there. And I'm no different than any of their other clients. We're trying to get...
Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are different. You are a celebrity who is 46 with 2 kids. Holy smokes. Tallulah, you're right. She does not get it. She thinks she's the same as everybody else. I'm no different from any of your other clients. Are you kidding me with this?
Yeah, she doesn't get it. And see, again, the vulnerable, oh, I'm so vulnerable. I'm actually going to step out of my comfort zone.
Oh, here we go.
I'm telling you, Christian Bale messages her and says, can I come over? I'm single. She's not going to be talking about stepping out of her comfort zone.
She'd probably pass out if Christian Bale ever did that because she'd probably think it was a trick.
Yeah.
Let me not be mean. Let me not be
I'm telling you. And it's that thing that, Rolo always talks about, one rule for alphas and the other for betas, right?
Yeah.
She wants an alpha and it's just not going to happen. And she wants an alpha that's probably in that industry that will know her history and will have absolutely no respect for her.
Wow.
She's not going to go with just even a standard high value guy. She's aiming for Christian Bale's and Ed Westwick. It's just not going to happen.
Dude, that ain't gonna happen.
No.
That is not gonna happen. I am so sorry. Wow, she really is. She's lost it. Cryptic Lovecraft, $50 super chat. Appreciate that. Says Donovan, it broke my heart to hear you call Stefan Molyneux a racist. I followed him for a long time. I only donate to you, him, and Fresh and Fit and Rollo. I assure you that I don't donate to a racist. That's why it broke my heart to hear you say that. Okay, listen, you're not the first person who has told me that, so maybe my assessment of him is wrong. Listen, man, I'll make some pretty provocative statements, and I'm more than willing to admit I'm more than willing to admit that with new information, I could be wrong. You are probably the 4th or 5th person that has vehemently told me, hey, Molyneux is not a racist. So yeah, I'll take it upon myself to do a little bit more research, and because that's a pretty strong term. I really believe that he was, but enough people have told me that he isn't for me to at least reconsider my position. So I'll probably do a little bit more research on that. Let us continue.
It's a simple.
Jay Blaze 11 says Nikki Glazer has said she has trouble dating and she's more attractive and doesn't have kids. Yeah, Nikki Glazer is a very attractive stand-up comedian, right? But she doesn't have any kids. She is young and attractive, but she's having trouble dating. This is just how this is.
It seems like you know what you don't want to do when it comes to your kids. However, you're working out what you do want when it comes to a partner. So what are you looking for, can you say, at this point in a relationship?
Oh boy, this is the fresh and fit, the female delusion calculator. This should be good.
Definitely someone who isn't interested in marriage or kids. Because
Did you ask that on the first Zoom call?
Wait a minute. Someone who isn't interested in marriage or kids? I'm not understanding. Why do you think she's saying that, Tallulah? Do you have any? Wow, that's weird. That is really weird. Let's
That
look at the
is
rest of
weird.
this.
That is weird. I think she slipped up there a little bit.
Yeah.
I think she's just going to blame it on like her last marriage was so bad. That's probably what she's talking about.
Yeah, she's been married 3 times.
And she's trying to say like, with who someone who hasn't got kids, is she crazy? Another man is not going to take on your kids unless he maybe has his own, and that's even a maybe. So it's all okay for her. You see,
Right.
but it's not okay for him.
Oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe, Andrew Ward says, I don't know if going on national television to announce her desperation is helping. I don't know either, but it's so weird. It is so weird to tell her, well, I'm looking for a guy who's not interested in marriage or kids. Let's,
I don't even talk about my kids, actually, because I think that we probably have to get to know each other first. Although I would love to know right out of the gate if kids were a non-negotiable for them. That would be helpful.
That would be good to know up front.
Check. Great. Moving on.
yeah, that's just it. See,
That's
again,
killed.
that's it.
Yeah.
The men she's looking for are not going to want to date a 46-year-old woman with kids. That's just,
She knows that.
She has to know. She has to know that.
No.
Listen, there are plenty of bottom 80%ers that would love to, hey, I'm dating Drew Barrymore. I'm a nobody. But those aren't the kinds of guys she wants. Oh, my God, this is bad. Oh, Cryptid Lovecraft with a $20 super chat says, that alone means a lot to me. Thank you. Love you, man. All right, no problem. No problem.
But I don't talk about
Appreciate that $20 super chat. Appreciate that.
them because I'm so protective of them that it makes me feel vulnerable to discuss them. I have to know you a little bit better and have some trust in order to even discuss
So you're not
them.
looking.
This is so funny. So does she not understand that she is Drew Barrymore, number one? Number two, everybody has the internet in their pocket. And number three, nobody doesn't know she's on CBS talking about her kids. So, I mean, like who is she hoping to date? Some person that doesn't have a television set or a phone? Hi, my name is Drew. Oh, hey, Drew, how are you doing? What, she's not going to discuss her kids, like, because they don't? What are we doing? Of course they're going to know she has kids. Oh, my God. I think, dude, you're right, Tallulah. I think she's crazy. I really do think she's crazy. Look on her face.
Yeah, again, it makes me feel vulnerable.
Oh, my God.
All about me. Everything she
Yes.
said, the whole interview is about me. Not once has even the interviewer asked her, okay, so you're looking for this guy. How do you want to make this guy's life? How can you make it better? That's not a bad interview question. Why can't they say it? Like one of the guys could say it. It doesn't even have to come from the woman. It's just absolutely insane.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
Just like,
Jay Blaze 11 says she's aiming for the Amish. Honestly, that's probably where she's going to have to go. But I think even Amish people, I think Amish people probably have the internet too. No.
Get married again.
Oh, God, never.
Really? No.
Oh, you say that now.
No.
I agree.
would
I
never
never say that now.
No.
Oh, listen to this. So she's like, listen to this. This is funny. So she really doesn't want to get married again.
Get married again.
Oh, God, never.
Really? No.
Oh, you say that now.
No.
I agree.
would
I
never
never say that now.
No, there's no reason to be. I would maybe live with someone again, maybe, but I've had kids and there's no way. I will never, ever, ever, ever.
It's like you've been on that roller coaster.
Live with someone, maybe. Oh boy, she's talking like she's 26 years old with all these.
Right already.
We're going to save this tape, Nate. I will never, ever, ever,
You
ever.
know what I would
save
like
it.
to start? I think there's a several billion-dollar cottage industry called a promise ceremony out there that negates
I do like
legality
that, yeah.
and goes out for the weekend with all your friends and the plans and the food trucks and the fantasies and the I love you professals.
Yeah, sweetheart, that's called private marriage. That's what she's talking about. Have you ever heard of the concept of private marriage?
yes.
Yes, that's what she's talking about is a private marriage. Now, she's right. There could be a cottage industry where you can get married without getting married. Apparently, the internet seems to think that's what Devin and I did. We did not. But yeah, what she's talking about is private marriage. Now, listen, She's probably right. That could be a cottage industry. Unfortunately for Drew, she's not going to have many options.
The word I'm looking for, like
Declaration.
professing
Yeah.
your love in front of your friends, because that's also missing out of an I never will get married again.
That's called anniversary toast.
This is true. Maybe I should introduce you to my older brother who's single. He coaches for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Uh-oh. Nate Burleson is a black man and just told this white girl that her brother is single, and look at the look on her face. Uh-oh. Now, not to get racial here, but let's just keep it real. A lot of older white women who are no longer attractive to white guys tend to swim to the darker side of the ocean. And here is Nate Burleson suggesting that his brother, who is a coach for the Minnesota Timberwolves, is single. And look at Drew. She's tickled pink. She looks almost as cute as she did in E.T.
Said to me years ago. This is kind of like, he said he's going to start a website called don'tgetmarried.com because it's like, it's not necessary if you don't need to get married. That's a separate conversation. I'm joking. But you mentioned bravery, though.
No, he's not.
People say if you're scared of heights,
He's
go
not
bungee.
joking.
Yeah.
What's that?
He's not joking.
No, he's not. He's not joking at
Jump in the
all.
water.
Yes.
For people at home that have hesitation, that are unsure about themselves, throwing themselves into the dating scene.
In
Is
30
it that
seconds.
simple? Just jumping into the water? Is that the advice you would give them?
And also having the ability to sit with the Queer Eye crew and realize that this is not just about me being stuck, that this
Oh boy. So now she is feeding into her own delusions. I think we've heard enough from Miss Barrymore. Holy. Now it's funny because I watched this. I watched this interview, and when I watch these interviews, a lot of times I'm kind of half paying attention, but I learned a lot more just watching that interview just now than I did the first time. So listen, as we round third and head for home, Tallulah, what are your overall thoughts on Miss Barrymore? 584 people watching, guys. Tallulah, we have knocked it out of the park today. We've almost got 600 people watching, and I think it's going to continue to go up. So thank you for your added value. But what are your final thoughts on Drew Barrymore?
On her dating situation, or
Well, a little bit of both.
I'm just going to sort of reiterate a lot that I've said already throughout the video. Is, it definitely shows that everything where women think that their career is attractive, that
Right.
100% shows it's not, right? Because there's no guys around for her.
Okay.
So the career is not attractive. I would also say that, she is, again, trying to go for one of these high value guys who are not interested in her. Things have moved on.
Right.
She's operating in a 26-year-old's mindset
Yes.
rather than a 46-year-old's mindset. And no one has ever held her accountable. You can tell
Right.
that as well.
That's right.
Yeah. So, I just think it's
There's not much more to say, is there?
it's preferences as well.
Okay.
She's got this preference that she wants, but it's the Christian Bales and the Ed Westwicks and all these guys, they're done.
Yeah.
She's an alpha widow,
Yeah.
and she has to accept it, and she has to move forward, and perhaps just stop operating in a 26-year-old mindset, because you are not 26, you are 46. Things change, but she's not. It was all that whole interview. It was all about me.
Yep.
I feel vulnerable. I'm stepping out
Yes.
of my comfort zone.
Yes.
I'm this, I'm that. Oh, poor me, timid me, vulnerable me. No, not at all. The whole dynamic there was just, I'm telling you, like I said, if she texts Christian Bale or any of these guys, and these guys were like, yeah, I'm single, I'm coming over, she's not going to go. I'm not comfortable.
Yes, she's going over there. She's going over there. She is Tallulah Johnson. Subscribe to her YouTube channel. I'm actually going to pull your YouTube channel up here. Tell me a little bit, as I pull this up, tell the people about your YouTube channel and what you hope to accomplish with it.
Sure. So my YouTube channel is The Feminine Truth. It's very, very new, but I hope to accomplish being able to get this message to women, especially women that are of my age or older, to accept the reality. I am very, very harsh on the channel, but I'm also very loving as well.
Yes, of course.
You know, it's the reason I think it may come across harsh is because I am speaking the truth. And, you know, stop having these demands. It's only going to put guys off of you. Start working on yourself. And it's all about self-improvement for
Yes.
women. Women just don't want to self-improve. And, you know, that may be, if you're in a relationship, what can you offer him? How can you still stay in there? How can you keep your sexual market value
Yes.
higher? How can you do that? It's not about your value. Like I said, every human has value, especially women, right? They're beautiful people, but your sexual market value is lower. And it's about understanding that once you get to a certain age, now what can I pull out of me, rather than just only looks. And it also focuses a lot on the media,
Right.
and social media, and how perhaps, you know, you should rethink having social media, especially
right.
if you're in a relationship, and stop posting pictures of yourself. That's
Right.
my main thing.
Absolutely.
Of yourself on Instagram. And it also it has a little bit on there about, you know, what women rate as higher value men and what women rate as lower value men. And just it's really the harsh reality of the world, but hopefully it really can help some women out there. So please do
subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe.
We're trying to get her to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the month. It is January 20th. She is at 459 subscribers. We got to get her to 1,000 subscribers so she can start monetizing her channel. Some of her video titles is How Do You Keep the Alpha Man? Delete Your Instagram for Him. Alpha and Beta Male Part 1, Beta Male Enablers. Women should not have male friends. 35 plus women in the dating market. 3 things high value men want. Age matters. Stop posting bikini photos, and so on and so forth. Tallulah keeps it raw and she keeps it real. Cryptic Lovecraft, $5 says, has Tallulah ever heard the song Tallulah by Sonata Arctica? The lyrics are blue pill, but it's still a pretty love ballad. I love it. Have you ever heard of the song Tallulah?
Yeah, everyone sings it to me.
Oh, wow. Well, there we go. All right. Very good. So Tallulah gets the song Tallulah sang to her all the time. Well, my legal name is Alex, and no one's ever sang me a song about Alex, so I guess that... Damian Wade with the $20 super chat says, can you get the daughters on the show? I don't know if I could get Drew Barrymore's daughters on the show. That doesn't make any sense at all. Please clarify your question there, Mr. Wade. Any closing thoughts before we call it?
No closing thoughts. Thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed it. And thanks everyone in the chat. It's really good to have your support. And a few of the names that have been read out, I know you've been supporting my channel, and please know I really appreciate you all.
She has just jumped to 474 subscribers, so we are almost halfway there. The Feminine Truth, she is Tallulah Johnson. Thank you guys very much for watching, and we'll see. So at 1 o'clock today, I will be joined by Allie, where we are going to talk about, I think she's like a 54 or 55-year-old supermodel who says attraction has no expiration date. That should be fun. I guess this could be called Post-Wall Thursday or something to that effect. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.